Hello students, I am Nidhi Markare. Today we are going to start new chapter in biology, chapter 6, life processes. Okay, students, in our surrounding we observe so many things. Some of them are living while some are non-living. We can differentiate these living and non-living things on the basis of their movement, reproduction, growth, breathing, etc. For example, if we see a dog running, or a cow chewing cud, or a man shouting loudly on a street. So we can say all these are living beings. But what if the dog or the cow or the man were asleep? Still they are alive. Why? Because they are continuously breathing. This is one of the example. Now, but what about plants? How do we know that they are alive? We can say they are green, they are growing. But what about plants that have leaves of other colors other than green? Okay, they are not green, but they are continuously growing. So we can conclude they are alive. Either they are colorful or only green, but they are continuously growing. So growth is one of the example. Along with that, in above example, the dog, the cow, the man, all these are living because they are continuously breathing. So breathing is one of the example of living things. Now next move towards movement. So think about movement. Showing movements is also an indication of life. But a plant that is not visibly growing is still alive. We cannot observe their movement. Some animals can breathe without visible movement. So, using visible movement as the definition, as a defining characteristic of life is not enough. Some movements over very small scales will be invisible to the naked eyes, like movements of molecules. For example, viruses, they do not show any molecular movement in them until they infect some cell. But there is a controversy about whether viruses are truly alive or not. But one question is there, why are molecular movements need for life? We have seen in earlier classes that living organisms are well organized structures. They can have tissues have cells, cells have smaller components in them, and so on. Because of the effect of the environment, sometimes this organized, ordered nature of living structures is likely to keep breaking down. Sometimes it breaks down. If order breaks down, the organisms will no longer be alive. So, living creatures must keep repairing and maintaining their structures. Since all these structures are made up of molecules, they must move molecules around all the time. That's why we need molecular movement inside the structure of the living organisms. Next topic, life processes. The main processes that are carried out by all the living organisms in order to sustain their existence as living beings, known as life processes. The maintenance process, the maintenance functions of living organisms must go on even when they are not doing anything particular. We have discussed this topic above. Now, even when we are just sitting in the class or we are just asleep, this maintenance job has to go on. And this process which together perform this maintenance job are known as life process. Some common life processes that all the living organisms perform in day-to-day life, like nutrition, respiration, excretion or removal of metabolic waste, growth, transportation, movement, control and coordination, reproduction, etc. And to perform all these activities separately, all the living organisms have some special structure inside their body to perform this. Since these maintenance processes are needed to prevent some damages and breakdown, and even to conduct all the life processes, we need some energy. This energy comes from outside the body of the individual organism. So, there must be a process to transfer a source of energy from outside the body of the organism to inside, and we call it food. and a process we commonly call nutrition. If the body size of the organisms is to grow, additional raw material will also be needed from outside. Since life on the earth depends on carbon based molecules, we know that most of these food sources are also carbon based. Depending upon the complexity of these carbon sources, different organisms can then use different kinds of nutritional processes. Let us take our example. When we walk or ride a bicycle, we are using up energy. Even when we are not doing any apparent activity, energy is needed to maintain the state of order in our body. We also need materials from outside in order to grow, develop, synthesize proteins and other substances needed in the body. This source of energy and materials is known as food we eat. Now, how do living things get their food? The general requirement for energy and materials is common in all organisms, but it is fulfilled in different ways. Some organisms use simple food material obtained from inorganic sources in the form of carbon dioxide and water, while some use complex food. Now, modes of nutrition. There are mainly two modes of nutrition: autotrophic and heterotrophic. So, we have discussed already, some organisms use simple food material obtained from inorganic sources in the form of CO2, carbon dioxide, and water. These organisms are known as autotrophic organisms, autotrophs. For example, green plants and some autotrophic bacteria. Carbon and energy requirements of the autotrophic organisms are fulfilled by the process of photosynthesis. We know the process of photosynthesis. It is the process by which the autotrophs take in substances from the outside and convert them into stored form of energy. This material is taken in the form of carbon dioxide and water, which is converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, the green pigment. Carbohydrates are utilized for providing energy to the plant. But the carbohydrates which are not used immediately are stored in the form of starch. This is the storage energy of the plant. Plant can use it anytime. A somewhat similar situation is seen in our body. Some of the energy derived from the food we eat is stored in our body in the form of glycogen. It is also kind of stored energy in our body. Okay, students, I hope you understood the initial part of this chapter. In next video, we will discuss autotrophic nutrition in detail with an activity, along with that heterotrophic nutrition in case of amoeba. Thank you.